Hey guys, this is Jack, your friend Jack, with he we're gonna do a first reaction today with my good friend Micah. So Micah, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jack.
Yeah, so this is an article about the Pittsburgh market and outside investors. And there's a secondary article, but I lost it. But I'll tell you roughly what it says real quick after we finish the video. So what's talking about there is the private buyers are buying up these different corporations and stuff, and how they're not leaving a lot of inventory for under $150,000 in the Mon Valley, all throughout Pittsburgh. Up, uh, basically, they're looking for 3 bedroom, 2 bath houses that are under $150,000. So, and it's really just these three bigger corporations. What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I, for me, I'm a smaller time investor. So, you know, we are in a similar price points in terms of my buy box. And, you know, I would like to hear more of exactly what they're buying in terms of and how they're managing things from that end. So I'd be really curious to hear kind of the details of, from front to end, how that goes for them.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll continue. And Allegheny County and Vybrook out of Ohio has bought 453 houses. Sev or Segovo LLC out of Tampa, Florida, has purchased 244. SFR3 of California has bought 206 homes, and the Diversified Residential Homes from various states has bought 146 homes in that small region. Um, Generally, the companies make some minor repairs and put them on the rental market. But while some companies say they're doing right by communities by restoring houses, Andy Rendez says the rehab of his rental in Canonsburg by Segavapo is surface only. He found out this winter that the cold air seeps through the floorboards while they were promised a finished basement, they have wall heaters that do not do the job. He and his partner tried to set up an office down there, but it's too cold for them to work. So the one thing I like to go over, I was doing some research. It basically comes to about 1,000 homes total in like 5 years that they bought. When I was doing some research, it comes to almost 1,000 homes in that area. It's like 800 something, like low 800s, but I'm just rounding up. It comes to about low 800s about every quarter. So the numbers that they use are a little bit off. Like they're making it sound like they buy everything. They really don't.
Yeah, and when they talk about the surface repairs only,
Yeah, that's the other thing.
yeah, is when is when I purchased my first property, and that had a lot of repairs where it was a clog in the basement that needed to be repaired. There was a leak in the second floor bathroom that needed to be repaired along with drywall. There was also pest control that we had to take care of. So pretty much, like Dion Talk Financial Freedom says, safe, clean, and functional. So as
Hmm.
soon as we get a call in, I'm talking with management saying, okay, yeah, let's go out there, approve all the repairs needed, especially, oh, there was also door repairs, interior doors that needed to be repaired as well with the hinges. So that's why it's important for me as a landlord to have reserves in place where if the tenant calls in for something that's a safety concern, I'm making sure that my management gets out there and does the repairs so that, they're in a safe, clean, and functional living space.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree. I feel like some of these companies aren't from the area, and if you're going to invest out of state in a different area, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And you have a little bit more experience in this than I do because I invest in my hometown. But for example, like if I was to invest in Texas, for example, I can't go into the mindset of, oh, well, they don't need AC because I don't need AC up here. You know, you can have huge mold issues, and I've heard stories where when they don't have AC, the roofs can get so hot that the tar actually starts to melt underneath the shingles. So I think you just need to understand your market and what you're getting yourself into and the type of climate and stuff. Like the people in Florida, they don't deal with snow, for example, and bitter colds. Now, granted, it's nothing like lumberjack landlord in Siberia, but we still have snow and we still have super cold temps that they have to factor in. And trying to run a mini split system is, or like little baseboard heaters, is alone with just that is not going to keep up.
And that's why it's good, that we were able to connect because I'm learning a lot from you because you know so much more than I do. And I'm only learning just maybe a thumb out of the whole, out of your whole hand. It's like I'm still learning every day as I'm trying to go through this and learn more and more each day.
I tell you what I really liked. Frank, he was talking the other day, because I wanted to put a mini split system in one of my rentals, but it wasn't going to be enough to keep up. But I really like what Frank said about those in-wall furnaces and stuff to help with the absolute cold. I'm actually really thinking about implementing that whenever that place goes vacant, and that way I can put like I probably want to talk more to Frank. If you're not familiar with Frank, that what's his name of his channel? Old guy REI.
That's the one, yep.
Yep. Yeah, so check him out if you haven't already. But I like to talk to him a little bit more, see if he thinks for the square footage if I need one of those or two of those. So let's go ahead and keep on with the article. Let's see. I don't figure out where we left off. They're down in Tampa Bay, Florida, where it's yeah, we already talked about that part. KDKA investigator has received a half dozen maintenance complaints by renters about Se Sega Lipo. I really should have looked at how to actually pronounce that company before doing the video. And Dietrich of Pitt's Urban Central of Social Research says that the companies generally don't have local maintenance crews. That's just part of their business model. Cut out the labor. There's no superintendent. There's no maintenance person. There's no one they know is going to be around. According to according to corporation records, Segavapo is owned by Meganatar Capital, an Illinois private equity firm that boasts about more than 13 billion in assets, including 4,000 houses across the country. But despite all that wealth in Allegheny County, Segavapo is a tax scoff scofflaw. So I'll read one more paragraph of this and then we can stop and talk.
Mhm.
The, the county municipals and tax districts have filed more than 130 liens against Segi. We're going to call it Segi from now on for non-payment of its real estate taxes. Abrams said under state law, Munhall will stop Segi from buying any more houses and demand it pays up. So again, this just goes back to what we are talking about before, just being a good landlord, just keeping up on everything, which they're obviously not.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
and and yeah, thanks. And it's so important just to make sure that I'm keeping up with all the property taxes because I know, we have for Pittsburgh, there's the school tax, there's the county tax, there's a municipal tax. So that was part of something I had to do, whereas I had to make sure I understood what each millage rate was for wherever I was planning to buy. And that just is a part of making sure that I'm up to code and, that everything is on the up and up with everyone.
Yeah, I think is just more evidence of them being a lazy landlord and just they're just in it for the money. And honestly, I feel like it just gives people like us a bad name. Since they've now been delinquent long enough, we're going to prevent any further occupancy permits from being issued, Abrams says. But otherwise, it's up to the delinquent tax collector to get them up to speed and bring it back into compliance. KDKA TV reached out to Magnetar Capital, which owns Segi, and it had no comment on these complaints. So as far as I know, I in the follow-up story, and that's it for this article. I there's a follow-up article, and like 3 months after this was published, and they still didn't contact or pay the taxes and stuff. So it's actually getting more and more to the point where if I don't know at what point, but these houses might actually end up going for on foreclosure. But a company like that, they're probably honestly just going to pay like last minutes.
Yeah, and I would love to hear an actual comment from them, to really to be asked these type of questions and saying, you know, what what was your plan kind of getting into these things and because if if they're having problems with, property tax payments, then they're it's going to have kind of a circling out effect for people like me and who other people who might it's just going to be that there's that saying where there's one person that causes something to happen that affects everyone else. So I just hope it's not anything like that, and it's hoping that I can just make sure that I'm making all the payments and I'm just making sure I'm keeping up with everything so that I'm not on the news.
Yeah, the other thing is there's another article, but I was reading at work and I couldn't get it sent to myself. But so the other article is talking about how they're going to start taxing all out of state investors for the Pittsburgh region. Like your stuff won't be impacted because you're outside of the city limits. But yeah, in Allegheny County, just the city of Pittsburgh, they're going to start they're trying to pass a bill now that talks about how they're going to start taxing out-of-state investors. But they're also going to implement another tax of they did this last year or year before, I think, where they now have to go through and do inspections and all those and pay occupancy tax too. So yeah. I mean, it kind of sucks.
I heard about that one with the occupancy permit. I did hear about
Yeah,
that. I was interested too how that was going to roll out and
yeah. The attorney, I believe, that's involved in that court case is Brad Donish or Donner, something like that. But he's the head on that, and they're fighting against that. But that was last year, the last I got to talk to him about it. But they're doing everything they can to get it overturned. So far, I know last time I talked to him, he is saying that they got, I think it's like five smaller municipalities overturned where they got rid of that. And so hopefully they keep up on that track and they can go forth. But at
yeah,
that
because
point, it's just a play on wording. It's all they're really going for.
yeah, because when I was reading, I'm not sure if I remembered it right, but was it because it was like there's that Airbnb party and someone got hurt?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I forget how many people got hurt, and it was way over occupancy limits and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that was the start of the whole thing.
I remember that one. Yeah, so Jack, after we are going over that article, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about, outside investors like me, for example, kind of coming in and investing in your hometown?
It really doesn't bother me too much, just because there's so many properties that come up for sale and stuff. And I mean, I'm not looking to try and retire in 1 year. It's a journey of 10 years. Uh-oh. But with that being said, it's a journey of 10 years. So there's only so much that you can do, especially starting out, that 1, 2 properties that I'm looking for. That's all I need is 1, 2 deals every year. So it really doesn't bother me having outside people come in or even other people come in. Yeah, so it doesn't bother me because I think overall there's always enough for everyone to go around.
Wow, yeah, that's really good to hear. And for me, I just want to make sure that I'm respectable and yeah, like we talked about, safe, clean, and functional, and just making sure that I pay all the property taxes as well.
I think that's the big thing is I don't want to, and I'm not even talking about outside investors, just other investors in general. I don't want to see them making a bad name for everyone else.
Yes, yeah, 100%. That's exactly how I feel.
Well, anyway, I wanted to thank you for your time and your input on this article, and hopefully we can get back together and we could do another one sometime soon.
Yeah, I love these, Jack, and I love, being able to talk and, kind of networking what everyone says is so important. So, I'm really thankful that you had me on and hopefully, yeah, anytime you want to talk, let me know. Let's do it.
Definitely.